Hello everyone, it's Toni, and today I want to show you how to make this beautiful diamond-studded glass display pumpkin that can easily be turned into this exquisite Cinderella glass pumpkin carriage. Or why not make a unique pumpkin shaped candy dish to stash your own favorite holiday treats, all made for under $10. And you guessed it, I found all these pieces at Dollar Tree. To make my first piece, I'm using two 6-inch round glass bowls. And since it's fall now and the costumes are out, I found these lovely little tiaras in the costume section at Dollar Tree. For this piece, I'm using 6 of the purple ones. To put everything together, you'll need strong cutting scissors. This is Claw's Floral Cutters. I'm also using Gorilla Clear Grip Glue and the hot glue gun. Okay, first I'm going to start by binding my 2 bows together. I already put some Gorilla Clear Grip Glue around the rim, and I left a space to put a dot of hot glue on each end. And the hot glue dries instantly, so I put it there just to keep the bows in place while the wet glue dries. And you want to make sure the bows are lined up and glued mouth to mouth to make this sphere shape. Now I'm going to set that aside to dry while I take my tiara and figure out how I'm going to use this to decorate my glass pumpkin. So I decided to cut this in sections to make it easy for me to wrap around my glass. I'm cutting the 2 end sections where I have a curly diamond piece off first. Then I'm cutting the middle section where the diamonds are attached to the crown, so that I have 2 pieces that have 2 little diamonds attached. I want to keep those pieces, so I'm going to set those aside. And I want these top diamonds to wrap around the glass, so I'm going to cut those apart. And then I'm going to cut the other side piece like so to detach it from the center. And this is a look at how I cut my pieces in sections. So I'm going to start with this center piece and turn that over. I'm going to put a drop of Gorilla Clear Grip Glue right in the center and on some places where I think the piece will touch the glass. Then I'm going to put a couple of drops of hot glue in other places where I think this piece will touch the glass. And again, the wet glue, the Gorilla Clear Grip Glue, will help the piece stay on longer, while the hot glue will keep it in place until the wet glue dries. But you want to make sure you don't put the wet glue or the hot glue over the wet glue, so you need it in a different section. But I'm going to place this right by the rim to sort of cover up that line for the rim. You could also use E6000 as a glue for this. Next, I'm going to glue those little diamonds. And again, I'm going to use 1 drop of the Gorilla Clear Grip Glue and 1 drop of hot glue. And I'm doing that for each piece. I'm gluing these in order the way they were before, but they're going to lay flat on the sphere and sort of wrap around it as it goes up to the top. Now this piece, I decided I want to tilt it inward so it lays more flat on the piece to give it more dimension, like sort of a wing look. So I think I'm going to detach this from the base so that I could glue the diamond part separately and tilt that more towards the glass. So I'll glue that silver base on first at a right angle so that it covers up that seam. And then I'll glue that diamond end piece on at an angle towards the glass. And I'm going to sort of tuck it a little behind the center wing piece. That way I'll have different levels to this design, and I'll do the same on the other side. Cool. I really like the way this is turning out. It's got a lot of dimension. The diamonds curve around the glass, and a lot of faceted, interesting dimension. So I am going to do the same thing on the other side. I think I'm going to do one at the bottom and one over here with this purple tiara. So let's see how that turns out. Now before I do the same design on the other side, I'm going to use the 2 cut pieces that I cut from the top of this crown to cover up the cut marks that I have in between the base piece. And I'll just use 1 drop of hot glue for that. And I'll place those little pieces right in front of the cut to add a little sparkle and to neaten it up a bit. So I used another tiara and I did the same thing on the opposite side. And now it's time to work on the empty spaces on the side. But I don't have as much space as I did on the other 2 sides. I only have this much space left. So I'm going to have to do something a little bit different. So for the sides, I'll only be able to glue the center pieces in between the 2 larger pieces. So I'm going to work out a new design for this side piece. And I think I'm going to do something like this. I'll have the center pieces at the top, and I am going to cut the side pieces so that I just have 2 of those oval shaped diamond pieces. So I'll position it something like this. I'm putting the top center pieces just like I did before, but I'm going to take the side piece that I cut, and instead of using it as a double wing like I did last time, I'm going to glue it to the corner of the other piece next to it to cover up that cut area, and just have it kind of loop around below the base of the top center piece. And I'll do the same on the other end, which kind of connects the base pieces together. Next, I'm gluing those 2 oval shape pieces that I cut out. They're right here down at the bottom in between the other 2 pieces. And finally, to cover up those 2 cut edges in the center, I'm going to use those 2 little diamond pieces that I had left over right here on the end, also to help hide those cut marks. Perfect. Now I'll just repeat that on the opposite side. Okay, so I have the top and bottom of the 2 sides. Now I'm going to use 2 more tiaras to do the bottom part of the front and back. And this I'm doing the same way I did the top, just flopped, but I'm only using the center pieces. So this is what it looks like. The top is more elaborate and the bottom is less detailed. Also, I cut the bottom base off of this piece because I just want to have 1 base going down the middle, and save those extra pieces for our next step, which is the stem of the pumpkin. But before we get to the stem, I'm going to turn to the opposite side and do the bottom portion of this side. Okay, so now all my decorating is done, and now it's time to create a stem at the top. So to create the stem, I am going to take what's left over of the bottom part of the largest center piece, and I'm going to cut the silver base off of this. I'm going to do that to both ends of that piece. So I have 2 pieces that look like this, and I'll do the same thing for the piece that was left over from the other side, but I'll just need 1 of those pieces. Also, I cut the curly end off of this piece. So I'm going to take the 2 pieces with the curly end, and I'm going to sort of press them together almost at a right angle, so that they make sort of a V shape. So I'm going to glue it together like this so that the necks looks like two geese necks are intertwined. In the center it's touching, but it's a little bit off at an angle, almost at a right angle. So I just use hot glue right in the center there, and it looks like this, sort of a V-shaped triangle, and it sits up a little tilted like that. Now I'm making a three-sided stem, and with the other piece where I cut off the curly part, I'm gonna tilt this sideways so that I can glue this piece to the other two pieces, and it sort of fills in the other side, sort of like that. So after I glue all three sides together, this is what the stem looks like. So to attach this to the top of my pumpkin, I'm going to use some Gorilla Clear Grip glue on the points, on two of the points, and hot glue on one of the points. And I'm going to attach that to the top center. I'm going to attach it so that it's a little bit at an angle from the front piece. I want the pumpkin stem to look like it's curling and curving around and sort of tilting downward at the top, just like a real pumpkin stem. And I think this does a beautiful job of doing that. And look at that. This is just a really beautiful display piece. Has a nice, elegant fall, sparkling pumpkin. But looking at this also really reminded me of this beautiful Cinderella glass pumpkin carriage. So if you would like to take this just a little step further and turn it into a carriage, here's what you can do. To add the carriage, I'm using the floral wire and diamond wrap ribbon. You can also find these at Dollar Tree. This comes in different colors, but I found this really cool purple floral wire, and I thought it was perfect because it matches the stones in my piece. So I am going to use this to make the wheels for my carriage. So I just cut two 24-inch long pieces, and I think that'll be enough for two wheels on each side. So that my wheels will match the main piece, I am going to add diamond wrap. So I just cut one very long strand off the diamond wrap ribbon, and I am going to hot glue that to one side of the wire. You want to make sure you hold the wire down so that it is glued on just one side of the wire. It tends to twist around if you hold it up, and you really need it to be on the same side all the way down. Now after you put the diamond wrap on both wires, you're going to start from one end and start twisting it inward around itself. And do that loosely and gently. Careful that the diamond wrap doesn't come off while you're twisting and turning. You might have to touch it up. But you're going to twist that in on both ends a couple of turns. And after I curl both ends, I'm going to bend the middle part down. And the goal is to make something that looks like wheels, something similar to this. Now I spread it out a little and adjusted the wires so that it fits on this short side, and I want the curve to fit right under these two oval pieces on the side, and I want my wheels to sit flush to the ground. So I'm adjusting the wire so that it fits perfectly around these pieces at the bottom on the side. So I'm going to put some Gorilla Clear Grip glue on the glass and on the side of the diamond piece where the pieces will intersect. And then I'm going to put some hot glue right above that. And then I can attach my carriage wheels. I'm going to put some hot glue around that to make sure it stays in place. Then do the other side. And when the hot glue is dry, you can do some final adjustments. Make sure the wheels are nice and round and in the right position at the right angle. Okay, so what I had left over were these pieces, the end of the tiara with this little curly diamond shape, and I think I'm going to use that on my wheels. I'm going to cut that curly piece off, and it actually just fits right in the center, and I think it'll add an extra sparkle to my wheel. I could just put it right there and make the wheel look a little bit neater. So I'm going to cut this down to pretty much a circle, and then I'm going to hot glue this on both sides of each wheel. I actually have just the right amount. I have about 8 of them. So I'm going to put one on the inside and the outside of each of them. And with just that little addition, I have a beautiful Cinderella carriage that would be a perfect display for the fall. And of course, it will look just awesome in the room of your favorite little or big princess. So this would also make a really great gift. And while I'm at it, turning tiaras into treasures, I want to quickly show you another option you can make using this method. This pumpkin-shaped candy dish. To make my candy dish, I'm using 4 pink tiaras, a bag of small clear glass gems, 2 8-inch round decorative glass bowls, and 2 leaf-shaped glass tea candle holders. Okay, so this tiara has a different design, the pink one I picked, and you could play around with different designs by cutting it up any kind of way you want and wrapping it around the dish, but I'm just going to do something simple right now just to show you how to put this together. I think I'm just going to separate the front part where I have the pink diamonds from the silver diamonds. I also detached the tiara from the silver ring that goes around the hair because I'm not going to be hiding the seam. I want these 2 bows to separate so that I'll have a lid in the bottom part of the candy dish. So the same way I did with the other piece, I'm going to use the Gorilla Clear Grip glue and the hot glue in different sections on the back of this piece. And I'm going to glue this down starting from the lip all the way around using 4 tiaras and 4 evenly spaced places on the dish. And this is for the top lid. Okay, so in order to turn this into a lid, I need a handle on it. So I'm using this glass tea candle holder that's shaped like a leaf. I think it'll make a pretty nice handle slash stem for the pumpkin. So I'm just going to add some Gorilla Clear Grip glue on the bottom part of this tea candle holder and attach that to the center of the top of the bowl. I'm also going to add a tea candle holder to the other bowl, to the bottom half, because I want it to sort of sit up on a pedestal. So this will be a stand at the bottom of the bowl. And after those 2 pieces are dry, you can see I have something that looks like this. It'll be a candy dish that you can cover up, the handle, something like this. Now the only problem I have is the top is not much of a lid because it's the same size and shape as the bottom and it could easily slide off. So to keep the lid in place, I'm going to use these small gems and I'm going to attach them all the way around the rim of the bottom. And that'll make an extended rim. It'll give it an extra edge so that the lid can stay in place. So I'm going to put 1 drop of Gorilla Clear Grip glue and 1 drop of hot glue on each piece, and I'm going to put that on the bottom half of the gems. And I'm gluing each gem halfway on the glass and halfway above the glass on the outside of the glass. And I'm gluing each piece right next to each other all the way around. I used about 33 of these small gems. Now I can actually put the top on without it sliding off. Okay, so now I'm going to decorate the bottom half of this. I have these pieces left and I'm going to put it down here somewhere. I have 2 pieces that I cut off for each tiara, and I'm just going to arrange it this way, right underneath, just sort of at an angle, and it looks like a continuation of the design. So I'll just line each of these up with each of the other pieces on top. But whichever way I put the top on, it'll still look nice. And with that, I think we're all done. Now I can display these on my buffet table with the rest of my homemade pumpkin pieces. And while the little neighborhood kids are being served their Halloween treats at the door, I can sneak in here amongst the pretty display and have my own little stash of goodies. Hey guys, check out my Etsy store where you can get some of the very projects made on this show. And for just a few dollars, you can get instant digital downloads of full color step-by-step instructions with templates for some of your favorite projects. And check out my Amazon page where you can pick up my multi-surface acrylic metallic paint, back in stock with 8 beautiful shimmering colors. You can mix millions of colors and create endless home beauty for indoor and outdoor projects. And while you're there, pick up my Book of Elegant Home Crafts Volume 1 with all your favorite projects together in one big beautiful colored step-by-step instruction book. On my Amazon page, you'll see all my favorite crafting tools and supplies used on this show, and you can add them all to your cart for the one-click fast and easy shopping and delivery convenience of Amazon. I'll be working every day to make crafting fun and easy for you. Follow me at Your House of Home and Your House of Home TV on all social media for extra home, food, and gardening tips.